and welcome to the MOOBment. I'm your host and creator of the MOOBment, Laurie Ann, and I'm so glad you're here with us today. I have a wonderful guest who I think will make us laugh. And humor is always a good thing when you're a mom, let alone a moob. But before we get started, I just wanted to remind everybody to please follow us on Instagram at the MOOBment and on Facebook. We appreciate all of your support. Don't forget to keep sending in the Moob mail. We all love reading it here, and we will have a letter or two, depending on what we have time for, to discuss with our guest today. The other thing I just wanted to mention again is about the MOOBment book. We have received some submissions, and they've been wonderful, and I'm going to encourage everybody else to look at our website, www.themoobment.com, and click on where it says the book, and all the instructions for submitting your stories will be there. I'm very excited about having all kinds of moves out there contribute to the book, help me with the promotion of the book. It will be a fun and exciting project. So if you've ever wanted to write a book, be part of a book, and be part of the MOOBment, this is your chance. So let's move on to our show for today. I want to introduce Selah Victor. And
Hello.
Selah is, she's a cool mom of 3 boys. I would call her a moob for sure. And she has the shirt on today to prove it as well.
I do.
And Selah is also, once she speaks, you might recognize her voice because there you go. She works as doing voiceovers, and she does the voice of a character named Chloé. And I'm going to have her tell you a little bit about her. Selah, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about your family? Let's start there first because I see the boy.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I am a boy mom, a moob. I love moob. That's hilarious. The voice of Chloé on Miraculous Ladybug, and I have been for, over 10 years now, which is crazy. And I have 3 boys, ages 3, 5, and 7, almost 8. My oldest is almost 8. And I also was raised, I had 6 brothers growing up. So I was raised by boys.
And were you the only girl, Selah?
No, I have a sister as well.
Okay.
So she and I are very tight because it was like literally us against all these boys all the time.
I get that.
Yes. But it was great. And it definitely taught me a lot. Like nothing surprises me. Although I guess that's not true. There have been definitely some surprises, but being a boy mom.
Kids surprise you. That's what keeps you going, right?
Yes. But I was trained. I was definitely trained. I read something last night, in fact, about how there's like a chemical makeup of boy moms, of moobs, if you will, that like literally causes the Y chromosome. Anyway, all the sciencey stuff I'm not articulating very well. But I was like, oh my gosh, this tracks. Like I had that chemical makeup from the time I was little.
So did you envision yourself as a boy mom? Did you ever think about it? Do you think about having a daughter, or just this is what it is and you expected it?
Very good question. No, I did not at all think I was going to only have boys. In fact, I was for sure my first was a girl before I even was pregnant. I had her name picked out. I had the mother-daughter relationship all mapped out because my mom and I are so tight. She's my best friend. Like we talk literally every day. You've probably seen some of our videos together.
Absolutely. I have.
Yeah. So it was very, very weird. Even my first one, I was like, because I did IVF with my first one and we only made healthy boy embryos. Now, this is like, I'm already getting to the punchline, but later we can discuss more if you want. But I've just found out I do have a frozen embryo that's a girl because my second and third were natural. So I still had these frozen embryos, but I thought they were all boys. And I didn't know that is a girl because it's a mosaic embryo and they weren't going to implant it. But now the science has changed and I could. And anyway, so that's another story. But all that to say, at the time, I thought I only made boy embryos. So I was like, devastated is like the wrong word. That's too strong. But I was like, kind of like, oh, I'm only going to have boys because I thought I could only have boys through IVF. And then I got pregnant naturally with my second. And I was like, oh, it's a boy. It's like, what's going on here? And then my third was a complete surprise because I was 41, almost 42. And I thought, well, this is for sure a girl because that's God giving me my little surprise girl, you know? And I literally didn't believe it. Even when I saw the ultrasound and his penis was very prominent, I was like, there's no way. It's still a girl. This is wrong. That's an arm, you know, like.
So so many things I want to ask you. First of all, I think so many people say, okay, IVF, you know, for sure you choose the gender, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I've heard of people kind of doing IVF for that purpose. Clearly not always the case,
Nope.
which is a reminder that we want healthy babies, and you know, you can't always choose, and that's the way that works. So IVF is not the determining factor, so to speak, right?
Right. Yeah. And I don't know what to do because I'm 45 now. And it's like everyone I know and I tell this story to is like, oh, you should put in the girl for sure. Get your girl, you know? I'm like, I have 3 kids. 4 kids is a lot of kids. And I'm 45. Like,
Right.
when is it enough? And when is it time to just be grateful for what you have, you know?
Yeah. And you have, I'm sure, a full life.
Yeah.
And, you know, people who comment all the time, I think they're looking at it as gender, you know, 3 boys. Yeah. But to us, there are boys. They're individuals and it's enough, you know, like for a lot of women, it's enough. And I hear what you say. I so appreciate your honesty because it is a little bit of a shock, I think, to most people, like a third boy, and you think, okay, what are the odds? But it happens a lot. Yeah.
Well, exactly. And actually, both grandmothers. Okay. So my dad's mom, my grandma on that side had 3 boys. My dad's one of 3 boys. And then my mom's mom had 3 boys. And then surprise twin girls at 40, my mom and her sister.
Wow.
So I know, which back in those days, I was kind of like, whoa, she was, I think 41 even. And so anyway, both had 3 boys first though. And so I don't know, like, I guess I'm like, why was I surprised? Even though
I guess so.
But it's like, my husband's also one of 2 boys. So clearly both of our genes were not working in our favor.
You know, the other thing that you said that kind of struck me, I talk to my mom every day. We're so close. You have a sister. One of the things we really talk about sometimes, girls and their moms, you know, chit chat 24/7. I mean, unfortunately, my mom is no longer with us. She passed away a couple of years ago, and I miss her terribly. That being one of the reasons I keep wanting to pick up the phone. And boys, and I'm super close with my sons. My sons are older than yours. They just don't call as much. I mean, they call all the time. I know what's going on in their lives, and they stay in touch, and it's amazing. But not like the girls who are constantly on the phone with their moms, constantly texting, constantly. It's something we don't talk about a lot as moobs, but yeah.
And I think that's really hard. It's so true. And actually, so I have 3 older brothers too. So I was the first girl, number 4. And it's interesting watching because my brothers all of them really keep in touch with my mom, but she will say it's just different, like with her daughters, you know, like my brothers do such a good job and they're always visiting and they're always calling and everything. But it's like, there's something that you can't put your finger on with like the mother-daughter relationship and then the grandmother-grandchildren. Like she will say, and some of that is because I'm geographically closer, but see, like I kept myself near her, you know, whereas my brothers moved away for whatever reason, jobs, businesses, you know, and it makes sense why they had to move. I get it. But it's like a daughter kind of just like stays near, you know, and wants her kid near her mom to help or whatever. So whereas the daughter-in-law wants to be near her mom. So it's
and I hear you. I mean, one of the things I think about all the time is you really want your daughters-in-law to be close to their moms and want to be close to their moms. It says something about who they are and how they mother. I mean,
That's right.
I'm a little ahead of you. I have 3 daughters-in-law.
Oh my
I got
goodness.
so lucky. I just want to count my lucky stars, and they are just good girls, and they are all close with their moms, and it's a great thing to watch, and you do want that.
Yeah.
But it is different. It is different is the way to express it. But I do also feel that although I don't speak to my boys, I do touch base with them every day, whether it's
Oh,
text
that's
or call or whatever, or 5
great.
minutes, 2 minutes, whatever. And they're really
Yeah.
great about that. I've trained them well. No, but they're very good about that. And the girls are really good about that too, keeping me in the loop. Um, I just, you just I can't explain it. You just know that it's different. Although I do feel that, push comes to shove, if we need them, the boys are always there. They're there for each other. They're there for us. It's just a little different.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's just a little different. And, I do think it comes later, like so my grandmother, my dad's mom, I was super close with. I even lived there with her in college. So it's like she got that mother-daughter relationship eventually with me. Like we were also best friends. I don't know, I did so much with her, and she was a younger grandma, so that helped. But um, she was also super close to my mom because my mom's mom died. My grandma had her older. So my mom raised with her mother-in-law, most of us, you know what I mean? And was very
Right.
close to her. So I think it does come out in different forms eventually. You just have to kind of be patient and like see what happens. And,
Yeah. And as a
but
matter of fact, I have grandchildren. My first was a grandson.
oh my
Just
God.
amazing, love of my life. So easy because I know boys, right? The
Yes. Yeah.
second one was a granddaughter. He has a little sister. And then the third was a girl as well. So as a matter of fact, I, again, I'm so blessed and lucky because I have them in my life all the time, babysit for
Yes.
them. They live nearby. So, they live
Oh,
nearby,
you
which
got
is
the great.
lovely.
Yes.
Yeah. And so there's pink in my house now. But
Yes.
here's the funny thing for all of you like you and younger moves out there. For so many years, I thought, I'm missing the pink. I'm missing the girl. I
Yes.
love my boys. I would never trade it. They're delicious and I'm their queen mom and that's great. But then the girls came along. I love them all so equally and the color is different. The love is the same.
Yeah.
It's really no different. It's fun doing the girly things, but it's fun doing the boy things too. So
Totally. Yep. And I think too that it's so true. I feel like God gives you what you are the best at in like a way as a mom, because sometimes I'm around little girls and it's not that I wouldn't be a good mom to a little girl. It's just like, oh, like I am skilled in this area with boys so much more than I thought I would be with. I'm not articulating this well, but it's like sometimes with little girls, I'm like, oh, I don't really have the patience for this.
you know what?
Exactly.
I want to know how many people listening now are shaking their heads and getting that because I so get that.
Like even like doing their hair every morning for school, I'm like, oh, I'm a go fast, cram it all in type of person. Like, let's do it as fast as possible. And I'm like, oh, that would really slow me down. Like I'm thinking of, I don't know if that's just like self-help, like giving myself something to look at that's like, okay, good thing God didn't give me girls, like a positive side of it. But also there's other things too that maybe I'm just not used to when I'm around like little girls. I'm like, oh, I'm not used to that energy. Like that's interesting. I don't know, like it's just a different energy. It's a different vibe. And
it depends on who your daughter is too. We just did a show recently that was pretty fascinating. And I had a guest on who has twins and she has boy-girl twins. And we try to bust through the stereotypes of, girls are whiny, boys are chaotic. And you know what? The fact is, sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's not. It really
Totally.
depends. There are girls who are athletics and more into sports than some of the boys, and vice versa. So it depends who your girl is. But I have a feeling this conversation might have been meant to be, because we're talking you into, I think, what you're going to do or not do with that embryo.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing too, is like, it depends. Like, I had 3 older brothers. I certainly was a certain way. Everything I did, they were like, that's dramatic. And I'm like, looking back, I'm like, was it really dramatic, or were you guys just like boys? That was, like, I think it depends on how, like you said, the girl, what her environment is too. I was
Right.
sort of like forced to toughen up as a child because I had all these brothers around me.
And birth order, it all factors in somewhat.
Exactly.
So you talk about dramatic. Tell me about your career, because I know that will fascinate so many people,
Yes.
especially people, moobs out there who have kids. So tell us about Chloé, and how'd you get involved in that?
Well, yeah, I feel like as a kid, I was dramatic in a sense that I was always playing pretend, and I was always really into performing, like even from a very young age. One of my first memories was I was standing, we had this like inside window ledge, and I would use that as my stage and use the curtains to close. That was my theater. And I was 4 years old, and I was singing How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria. And I leaned back, and I didn't know the window was open, and I fell out the window singing.
Oh my
I know.
gosh.
Oh. So like, that was one of my early memories. And
you see, that's one of the stereotypes. They say only boys go to the emergency room.
Definitely. I was also one of the only ones to break a limb. Like, yeah, that's true. That stereotype is done. But yeah, so I think I started at a very young age. My whole family was very artistic, though, and creative. One of my brothers is a famous sculptor. One of my other brothers was just like a young professional musician. And anyway, so my parents really cultivated that and encouraged it. And I think now too, especially it's hard to cultivate that, because you have to like get them into classes and get them into things that are very expensive. Whereas like back in the day, we just sort of like did it. I don't know. I remember like organizing neighborhood plays and getting all the kids to come over, and I'd produce this play. I was 10 years old, and that kind of thing just doesn't really happen anymore, at least in a city like mine in Los Angeles. But anyway, all that to say, yes. So I went to college for theater. I knew that was what I wanted to do. And actually musical theater. And when I was a senior, I got called back for a Broadway musical. I flew out to New York. I hated it because it was...
You hated it?
I hated it. It was the middle of December. I'm from California. I was like, what is this? Like, I just remember staying in my friend's tiny shoebox apartment with her, and she was telling me how much she paid for rent. And I'm like, this is nuts. And there was a homeless guy kind of doing scandalous things by me on the subway. And I just thought, like, this is not for me. And by the way,
what show was it? Do you remember?
It's Gypsy on Broadway.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And it was for Luis. I had the callback I think it was for the understudy. It was the cover, which for me was still a big deal. I think it was somebody famous playing her. I can't remember, but it was a big deal. And, but I just remember I'm from a small town in California. I did not grow up with, there's 8 kids on a teacher's salary. Listen, we were not well off, but I was prepared for New York City. It was like a different sort of like,
It's very different.
Yeah. And I went to school. I went to UC Irvine, which is its own bubble. Like, it's like the safest city in America, So I'm like, what is this madness? I do not want to live here. I do not. And at that point too, I was realizing, this sounds harsh, but I didn't have what it takes to do musical theater. Like, I had a very good singing voice. I was a great actress, but I could not dance. I sort of realized that too, going to New York, that it was such a blessing that I got to go, actually, because I realized, I'm not ready to live in this city. Like, this is not for me, personality type. And I don't want to live away from my family this far and be struggling. And I realized theater actors, sadly, because they do the most work, like way harder than TV and film. And I know because I did both. I do both for years, but all that to say, they make a fraction of what TV and film make. And I grew up poor. I was saying, I grew up poor. I didn't have much. And I thought, I don't want to live like this. No thanks. I lived most of my life poor.
You know
I
what?
want to make,
That's great. You know what? That's what being young is all about. You test the waters, you see what's right for you, and then you pursue it, what you
yeah.
want to do and to get to the goals you want to get to. So tell me now, how did you start with Chloé?
Okay, so then I moved to LA after graduating and thought I'm going to pursue TV and film. And by the
Mhm.
way, in college, I was lucky enough to get a bunch of jobs dubbing anime. Do you know what
Mhm.
anime? Yeah. So
Mhm.
I was, so when I moved out here, I got a voiceover reel done because people were like, oh, you've done voiceover. You should get an agent, And at
Right.
that time, it was easy to get an agent. I got an agent right away, big one, by the way. And then
Mhm.
things started to shift where voiceover was getting replaced with celebrities, and celebrities started to
Mhm.
do voices for movies. It was like Toy Story was coming out, all these things. So things were shifting, things were getting harder. And I didn't book anything with this agent. So they dropped me. But I had this reel still. So I gave it to a friend of mine who was writing on a cartoon. And I was like, hey, if there's ever any role for me, here's my demo reel. And she gave it
Mhm.
to the director who called me in. I ended up booking 1 or 2 lines. And that director was Ezra Weiss, who directs
Mhm.
Miraculously. So then,
Amazing.
yes, flash forward a few years later. Remember, I still don't have an agent. This is just me like hustling, throwing people my demo. And he calls me in for Miraculous. I booked the part of Chloé. I think I auditioned for all of the females, if I remember correctly. But I
Mhm.
booked Chloé, and none of us thought it was that big of a deal because I forgot to mention, not only had I booked that other pilot with him, which was another dubbing pilot. It was the one that I got a few lines that my friend was writing on. It was a French a TV show turned movie that I booked like character parts on. But
Mhm.
this was also dubbing from French to English. So dubbing pilots you do all the time. I think I had done a couple others in between. You never think anything of it. You're just like, oh, it's a
Right.
job. You're getting paid per hour.
Right.
I don't even know what. It's not like you get residuals or anything. So I'm like, it's a job. Great. I do it. I do the pilot. They want some more episodes. We do some more episodes. Next thing we all know, we're like famous. It was
That's
crazy.
unbelievable.
I know.
Yeah.
It exploded. We're doing like signings, and I'm like,
Wow.
I don't even know if I was like a regular. I think Chloé was like recurring. So I wasn't even a regular, and I already had like social media following and stuff like that.
How fun. Wow.
I know. And so I definitely from there decided to like kind of leverage it into my social media, which it is now.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it was really cool that it took off like that.
So then tell us, you have the dramatic about you and you have a social media presence and
Yeah.
you clearly have the moob boy mom life. So you
Yeah.
merging the two and tell us something funny about your life now with your boys that we can all relate to.
Well, I mean, it's constant chaos. No matter what, it's always chaos. I feel like I joke about living with boys is like living with my brothers all over again. And if you grew up with brothers, that's what it's like. Like they rib me, but they love me. you know, it's like, it's this weird dichotomy. Like just like constantly you have that like boyfriend love, but then they're also like
Mhm.
teasing you and ribbing you. At least my boys do. It's crazy.
It
They,
is crazy. It's a world all of its own. Do you have many friends who have all boys, or are they
yes, I
mostly
do.
you do?
I don't, we all talk about too, like where we have, okay, in our
That's
little
a
group,
great thing, though.
it is a great thing, but it's funny. Like, I feel like a lot of people are having boys lately. It's very
Mhm.
interesting. I
Yeah.
actually made the mistake the other day. I want to do a video about this because I said my friend is pregnant with her second boy. And I was like, I know, were you a little disappointed at first? I was too. Like, I was trying to like share. And she was like, no, I wasn't disappointed. I'm like, shoot. I'm
And
like, no,
it's funny.
I love
I
it.
I talk to so many people. First of all, I started this because just my own circles,
Yes.
most of my friends were not moves. They had a lot of them have sons, but they had daughters. And I
Okay.
frequently found myself in a situation where it was just me. And that occasionally when I would talked to somebody who also had only boys, we would bond instantly. There were these things we
Totally.
could say to each other and
Totally.
our eyes could roll and, that you just get it. And I was
Yep.
like, there have to be more of us out there. And like you always say, like you feel better when you're not alone. You have other people in your circle. It takes a village. So when I started this, I kind of did it as like, my own, I call it my midlife crisis project, but whatever it is. And it's unbelievable. Even talk about celebrities, influencers, how many moves there are out there.
I know. Yeah.
And no matter what your walk of life, you just get it. It's like it's like a language all its own kind of thing.
It's so true. It's so funny. You're reminding me, I have another video I haven't posted about how when, especially 3 boys, because you have 3 boys, right?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. And 2 boys too, but especially for some reason, when you meet a mom of 3 boys, it's like an instant bond, an instant connection.
Yeah.
I'm like friends with this random waitress I met at a restaurant. Like, I mean, just online, we're friends, but we like instantly bonded. It was so funny because we're like, you have 3 boys, they're the same ages. Oh my gosh, like, because you know what life is like for each other.
You do.
And I don't think that is in other cases, like maybe 2 boys too, but like, I'm not trying to sound like exclusive or whatever, but it's like, I also have a lot of friends with 1 girl, for example, and it's a different experience. It's a different parenting experience, and both are hard for their own reasons, but it's just different. That's all,
It is. It is. And there are just issues. I mean, I'm so happy that we're doing this today because I do love every episode. It's like you can't choose your favorite child. You can't choose your favorite episode when you're hosting a podcast. But we do a lot of episodes with experts, with authors. I personally have learned so much. It's amazing. My boys were raised and are amazing humans because I didn't know any of this biology. And I mean, I just had an author on, Ruth Whitman, who wrote a book called Boy Mom. And if you haven't read it or listened to the podcast yet, she's unbelievable. And she has 3 sons and talks about her 3 sons, as well as another co-authors of Talk to Your Boys, all about conversations and the basically the pressures that boys today feel, with everything going on and how boys really have emotional needs and we as moms need to cultivate them. But anyway, it is really wonderful to get all the science, to get all the research, to get all just the deep dive into raising sons. It's also really nice to do what we're doing and just talk because you do have this connection and to just be everyday moms. My background, I was a CPA, you're an actress, but we have this thing going on. Like, my boys are older, your boys are younger. And that's it. That's the movement, like right there,
That's awesome.
And I think we need each other. Yeah.
It is. You're so right. I'm so glad you started this because we do need each other. I think it's so important to recognize, first of all, that they are different, boys and girls. Yes, it's a spectrum. Like, I'm sure some girls are more like boys and some boys are more like, you know what I mean? But like, there are some biological differences that need to be recognized. There's some hormonal differences for sure, and I think too, like you said, in this society, it's interesting to me. I've noticed in my older son, this is, he's in 2nd grade, so it's his 3rd year of elementary school. The boys tend to get in quote unquote trouble more, and here I am saying and joking about how chaotic it is, and it is. But I think that you can't necessarily expect biologically a boy who needs to be physical, for example, to sit there for so many hours and not, you know what I mean? Like, you have to work with what you have as far as like as a teacher, as a disciplinarian or whatever. Like the other day, my boys were just going at it with each other. So I was like, all right, get down and give me push-ups, like you gotta get that energy out.
And that is amazing. That is an amazing reaction to that. And I am going to literally send you the books and I want you to promise me you're going to listen to the podcasts.
I will.
Of the authors I just mentioned and several others who really talk about how to parent boys and to do exactly what you did. And I don't want to go into it right now. And I'm going to actually put a reel out about it. But I witnessed something at the airport the other day about a frustrated mom. And I wanted to say to her, just have him run around the suitcases. You'll be good. Let him get it out.
course.
But I kept my mouth shut. I minded my business because I thought that
That's
was
so
the right thing
hard.
to do.
So hard.
I know you have to go in a minute, but I want to just get to our Moob mail so that we can just answer one of the moms who wrote to us, because on one or two of the podcasts, I skipped the Moob mail and I heard about it afterwards.
Oh,
Like, what
no.
happened to
Okay.
the Moob mail? What happened to the
Go on.
song?
I want to
So
know
here we go.
Okay.
Time for our Moob mail of the day.
Oh boy, it's that time. Ooh, mail's here. Your voice meets mine. From your heart straight to our trail. Let's open up that mail.
Okay, this one comes from Jennifer. And Jennifer wrote, I am a working mom with 3 boys. Here she goes. She's 3 boys like us, ages 7, 9, and 12. By the time I get home from work, it feels like everyone wants something different. One wants sports, one wants screens, one wants mommy time. I really want to make the most of the time we have together during the week and the weekends, but I am frazzled. Do you have ideas for activities that can engage my boys with different ages and interests without somebody always complaining I'm bored?
That is really hard. And I feel like, too, it's hard when they all want something different. I'm sort of in the same boat. One will want me to play. My oldest is really into Monopoly right now. So you kind of have to sit there. You can't really multitask,
Right.
And then my middle will want screens. Yeah, same thing. And I don't know. I feel like what I kind of do is I kind of just like, if dad's not home and it's just me, I just split it. Like I'll be like, okay, we're going to do Monopoly as soon as the little kids go to bed. And you got to figure it out on your own. Read a book or something. Then I like entertain the little kids, It's almost like you got to just take turns. What would you say? You're more.
You know what? I think it's not easy and you can't always engage all of them. But
Yeah,
I think you can try to find some things that you have to do anyway. Like if you're preparing dinner, engage them and say, you know what? I have to prepare dinner. I need your help. And you can find something for a younger and a middle and an older age kid to do. Even if one is setting the table and one is chopping something and one is mixing something, keep them safe, keep out of the emergency room, keep the knives away, but
Totally.
find something. Folding the laundry, maybe you can find a sorting activity for one and a something else for something, somebody else. Of course, the laundry basket automatically becomes the basketball hoop, we all know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good advice. And I feel like too, like let's say all of that is done and they still like want different ways of entertaining them. I think it can find one thing that unites all of you. Like sometimes I will put on a movie and we make popcorn and that's what's uniting all of us or something like that, like a movie night or a game night or something, like just finding an activity we all can do together or bike ride or something, because it is hard. Sometimes it's hard to like get them all to participate in the dinner or whatever. One of them will usually, but like to get my little 3-year-old, for example, her age is, definitely that she could do that.
She could do that. And the last thing I want to just say about this to her is it's okay for your kids to be bored. And I've heard that time and time again. Like we feel like we need to keep them busy all the time, that if there's a minute of quiet, we need to fill it. And from what I'm reading and I've been told by experts, being bored is really important. It gives them the time to actually use their own brain and their own creativity to come up with something to do. So sometimes if you say to them, you can be bored. Why don't you figure it out? Here's a piece of paper and a pen. Why don't you figure out a game or figure something out? Or don't tell them anything. They'll come up with it on their own. And you shouldn't really feel guilty if your kids say they're bored.
I don't mind when they're bored and when they figure something out. What's hard for me, and I don't know if other boy moms feel this, is when they're bored or when like, I don't know, when there's those like moments, they fight. They freaking fight. And that's so hard. Like they fights. They start like duking it out and for no reason, it's like, what the?
Because they need that physicality.
They do.
And I'm here to tell you that they fight. They will kill each other. But down the road, the bond of brotherhood between brothers is something that I've never experienced. And until my boys, grew up, they will literally do anything for each other as adults, and they have this bond. I don't know, maybe it's all the fighting and all the punching each other, but that's what it morphs into, is this great brotherhood.
I love that. I do see that with my own brothers, which is super cool.
Yeah. So thank you for joining me today, Selah. I'm replacing your boy mom with a Move shirt as soon as I can get it printed. I can't wait.
I would love one. That's amazing.
Absolutely. You know what? One of the things I did want to bring up actually is on your Instagram, which is how we found each other, which is great. You have an Amazon shop, and I've been perusing it, and I love the things that you put up there. So I want to tell everybody to go. If you log on to Instagram, and I'm learning this in droves, and you look at Selah's profile, you'll see her link tree there, and just click on it and you'll see all the things she's representing, including information about Chloé. I think Chloé's appropriate for 5 to 10, 12-year-old kids. So you should tune in.
Yeah. Teenagers, everybody who love the show. It's funny, but definitely.
So that's great. I saw the, lots of the cameos that you do. So everybody just tune in and check out her LinkedIn. She has great things on her Instagram shop. And you know what? All us boy moms, we need to stick together and support each other, because that's really what it's about. So I hope everybody will follow Selah Victor on Instagram. Please follow the movement as well. We are growing strong, and we need all the Moob support we can get. And thank you for joining us, Selah. And I hope you will keep us posted. And if your family grows, I want to hear about it.
I know that'll change the content, right?
Exactly. And I'm going to leave everybody, as I do at the end of every podcast, by reminding you to hug your boys, trust your instincts, and remember that we're all boy moms, and those who love us belong is right here.